Hey, what's up you guys, Spawn Public here, back with another video, and today I am going to show you guys how to make a clone army for cheap. Now, throughout the years, clone troopers have been a sought after minifigure for many us LEGO Star Wars collectors, or just army builders. If you guys seen on YouTube throughout the years, from 2009 through modern day, you guys will see that many YouTubers have giant armies to hundreds to thousands. Now you guys might be asking, okay, but that's really cool and all, but how the heck do you get that many clone troopers within that quantity? Well, I personally have been collecting for more than a decade now, and I feel like I've gotten enough experience to tell you guys how to get clone troopers for cheap. Because with these tips, I have gotten around hundreds of clone troopers. So now I do want to share these tips with you guys because I've seen that not a lot of people know about these methods. So I hope with this video, this does help out you guys in the long run. So enough talking. We're going to get over the 4 tips on how to get clone troopers for cheap. Alright you guys, tip number 1 is going to be trading. Now this is my personal favorite method when trying to get a good amount of clone troopers for a clone trooper army. Now, trading is when you give something to a person, and that person gives you something back. That's what trading is, and I'm going to explain to you guys how I do my trades. So, when I do my trades, I do them over on Instagram. Now, big disclaimer here. When you do trades on Instagram, people are going to be sketchy. So, when you're encountering somebody else that you don't know, ask a friend or ask a community member if they know them or not. If they don't, it's better to be safe than sorry, but to not trade with them because you do not want that person to scam you or to give you fake Lego. So if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So either way, when you're trading with a friend or somebody else, I'm going to give you guys a scenario here. So here we have a plain Phase 2 clone trooper that the market value for these guys go for around $20. We have an Episode 2 clone trooper, which goes for around $7 current market value, and a Clone Wars animated clone, which goes around $5 to $6. So these are the clones that you want. Person A here has the clone troopers that you want. Now, when you trade this set, this means you have to sacrifice high-end figures that you might have. So, for example, here we have a Boba Fett from the UCS Slave 1 and the Cloud City set. Now this figure's value goes for around $30 to $35 around BRICKLINK. So that's the current market value for that guy. So now remember, the goal here is to get more figures than you're giving the person. Because if you're getting more clone troopers than that person, you're doing your job right. So just remember, this is why I say to trade in high-end figures, because they have so much more value that when you're trying to get clone troopers, you're going to get a lot. So just remember, try to get more clone troopers out of your trade. So if you're getting more than that person is, you're doing awesome. So once that trade is good to go, because when you add up the value of all these guys right here, they're $32. And that's around the price range for this Boba Fett here. So once that trade is done and deal, you guys have to ship at the same time. Why do I say this? Because when I did my first trade on Instagram, I got scammed. And I shipped first to the person, right? And when they got the package, they blocked me and they never sent my stuff. So that's why I've created this system to kind of prevent that. Plus, it creates a level of trust, and you never know, you might be trading with that person again. So it's all in the benefit here. So once that deal's done, you're good to go, and you're beginning more clone troopers. So let's say you don't have a Boba Fett, you don't have a Palpatine's Arrest Anakin Skywalker, you don't have a Count Dooku, you don't have a Chancellor Palpatine. You don't have to have those. These are just examples. Now, if you don't have them, that's okay. It's alright. But however, if you do have custom clones, like these AV figures or this Clone Army Customs figure, that can work as well, because these figures have way more value than these Clone Troopers do. So, because, for example, these printed figures from AV are around the market value of $30 to $80 or more. So, those guys have a lot of value, and so do Clone Army Custom figures, because this guy and many other Clone Army Custom figures, they can range around $18 to $50 or $60. So the value's still there. You can still get good Clone Troopers. So now, you guys don't believe me, I've traded 9 custom Clone Troopers for 16 of these 212th Attack Battalion 212th Clone Troopers. So if you don't believe me, it's on my channel, my greatest haul ever, or my greatest trade haul ever, something towards those lines. So this is it shows results. So that's that. Just remember, when you trade, either trade with friends or with people you know, locally or online. But if you're trading with somebody you don't know, take your precautions, be safe, and overall, hopefully these methods will help you out. Because remember, the goal here is to get more clones than the person is. So that's me trading. We're going to move over to the second tip here, you guys. Alright guys, second tip here is going to be buying clones on BRICKLINK. Now, BRICKLINK is the cheapest store to get Lego. Do not, I mean do not, go to eBay, because eBay is super expensive now. Even, sometimes you can score a really good deal, but that's very rarely, at least in my experience. So just don't go to eBay. You'll be wasting your time there. I only shop on there for sets, because sometimes for sets you can get a good deal, but if you're going to minifigure lots, or Lego Star Wars lots, or Lego clone lot, you're not going to find a good deal most of the time. Because, you know why? Because people know the market value of Clone Troopers. And once they know that, they're going to obviously put up the market value. And, that's reasonable, because, let's say I want to sell a plain Phase 2 Clone Trooper. I want to sell it for $20. That's the market value. Makes sense. But if you're trying to get clones for cheap, do not go to eBay. BRICKLINK is the way to go for that. So now these two Clone Troopers specifically, I put them up here because these are good army builders in my opinion. Because this Clone Wars clone, right, came out like 10 years ago. This Clone Trooper here, this figure just consists of just the helmet and the torso. You can easily just part out the arms or the legs, or just straight up buy the figure for $5 each. So you can do that for around $5 to $6, which is pretty reasonable, pretty cheap, I'd say, because on eBay they can go for around $10, $20. So you'd rather go to BRICKLINK for that. As well, Bomb Squad Troopers, I know they go for around $2 to $4, so these guys are cheap. So if you want to build a Bomb Squad army, this is a good way to do it as well. Just buying clones on BRICKLINK is very cheap to do. Again, you just got to find the right seller. So this tip is short, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Just buy clones on BRICKLINK. Just don't. You can also go to Brick Owl. Brick Owl has sometimes some good deals, but they don't have that many lots because not many sellers are there. So BRICKLINK is the way to go. Don't go to eBay. You waste your time there. So now we're going to move on to the other tip. Alright guys, third tip here is going to be parting out Clone Troopers. Now, I will say this is kind of a disclaimer, I don't recommend you do this a lot. This can come in handy sometimes, but especially in today's market, it's not really worth to do this method. But if you can if you can find the right BRICKLINK store, you could definitely pull out a victory here. So basically, parting out is when, let's say, you don't have a helmet for this Clone Trooper here. You can go to BRICKLINK and buy the helmet. Boom, complete clone trooper there. And, you know, let's say your 212th clone trooper doesn't have legs. But, you know, you need to have legs. So you can buy the legs on BRICKLINK. Boom. Full complete clone trooper. Now, you can go to different stores, various stores, order minifigure parts, legs, and, you know, part out a bunch of these guys. You can do that if you want, but they're kind of pricey now, so I don't really recommend that. But parting out, it depends, because it depends on the store if you can find a good deal or not. I'll show an example here right now that shows a good deal I got for clone troopers, or at least in terms of parts. So, you know, parting out is pretty good. It just depends on who the buyer is and if, you know, that really low prices. Now, a good example here is, if you guys do remember, this clone trooper came in the Jedi Clone Troopers Battle Pack that came out in 2018, right? Now, this plain Phase 2 body, or plain body, printed legs, torso, angry clone head, you know, this is a really good minifigure. Now, you might be asking, what is this clone doing here? It's playing Phase 2 that's worth a lot. Now, what I did, this is my favorite, I miss doing this, but I basically ordered a lot of the plain Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmets on BRICKLINK, just the helmet, for around $6, you know, they really ranged about $4 to $8. Now, that might seem a lot for a helmet, but especially today, that's really worth it, because if you just get the battle pack, take off the helmet, boom, you already have a plain Phase 2 Clone Trooper, because in the actual figure, it's the same thing. So that's one example of really parting out, is by doing that, and you know, you can have really good Clone Troopers that way. I mean, that's what I did. Unfortunately, these helmets are worth more than $10. One, even right now, is like $20. So, you know, markets will always jump higher and down a little bit as time goes. But that's why I'm saying it depends on what the seller is. Because parting out, it can be good, but sometimes it can't. Just depends who the seller is and if their prices are cheap or not. So that's basically parting out, at least in my experience. So, yeah. So we're going to move on to the last tip. Alright, you guys, and the final tip here is going to be custom figures, or custom clones in this case. So this is a good way to grow up your army if you don't care what kind of clones there is. For me personally, I'd rather just collect the official figures more than customs, although I do have a good amount of customs, but this is just a personal preference. This is all about preference. So a good way is to get AV figures decals. Now, as you can see here, I have a 327 Specialist. This is for Battlefront 2. You know, Lego don't make the all of the clones, so AV figures is a good way to kind of get that. So, you know, decals do work. I have a tutorial series. You guys want to see that? A Venom Paintball does as well. Check his tutorials out. I'd say they're better than mine. He goes more in depth with the tutorials, so go check him out. So anyways, with decals, you can create your own clone and such with the decal templates. Now the question is, okay, where the heck do I get the plain bodies? Get on BRICKLINK. If you search up minifigure white or white minifigure, that's kind of where you're going to get them. Or if not, you can go to websites such as Jonak Toys. Great guy. A good way to get plain minifigure bodies, as well helmets, as well some other stores, but I've mainly seen Jonak Toys has really supplied on those and capitalize on that. So yeah, so with these you can make your own figure and kind of build it up a bunch. So custom figures are a good way to go. And as well, if you want to, you could get as well Clone Army Customs. Now, if you have a lot of money, you know, if you got a good amount of money, you can get Clone Army Customs. Now, Clone Army Customs is a really good website to get custom figures as well, accessories, stuff like that. like this 44-second Siege Trooper. Really nice figure. They range around $30, so you know you can pick and choose. Now they do have raffles, something like that, like a random clone kind of thing for like $12, something like that. That's also a really good deal for custom figures, so I do recommend doing that as well around the season holidays. So custom figures are a good way as well. You know, so that is going to be for that tip. So custom figures are a good way, but they can be quite expensive, so you know it depends. Sometimes you get good deals, sometimes you don't. But either decals or Clone Army Customs, good way to go. So that's my last tip here, you guys. We're getting the video here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my how to make a clone army for cheap video. I hope you guys do take those tips and apply them for whenever you try to get clone troopers. So I hope this video does help out you guys. And let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Did it help? Did it not? How can I improve? You know, so I hope this does help you out in the long run, you guys. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.